Each and every Friday on Off the Script, I like to sit here in the beginning of the show and I like to talk to you guys one-on-one as if you're sitting directly across from me. I do it every week, no matter what topic it is. We dive into it, we go into the reality of the situation, and we try to make the most out of what we are talking about. I did it last week with Charlotte and Asuka, and I sat down here with this iPad and I went over everything that was positive and negative about that situation on SmackDown Live and what it meant for the future of the WWE Women's Division. I'm going to do the same thing here for WrestleMania, but it's not more of a positive and negative. It's more of a truthful statement, a truthful open about what WrestleMania really has become, especially in the modern day WWE. It is no longer the same WrestleMania that you and I were growing up with. I remember fondly memories of where I was for certain WrestleManias, which I'll detail here in this open. And WrestleMania has given me the feeling of laziness, unexcitement, lame, boring, stale, generic, lifeless is the best word I could possibly use to describe WrestleMania in 2019. I want you guys to think about what has happened. And WrestleMania season for me starts when we hit the Royal Rumble. I want you guys to honestly sit down and think what has happened from the Royal Rumble all the way up until the go-home shows. Everything in between. What has happened that you could honestly look at this 16-match card right now and honestly say, this is WrestleMania season. I'm excited about what's happening with WrestleMania 35. Becky Lynch winning the Royal Rumble. They went about it in a strange way, but Becky Lynch did win the Royal Rumble. That was the right decision. I think that is a huge thumbs up as far as WWE creative and a positive on the road to WrestleMania. Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey's face-to-face on Raw after the Royal Rumble. I still think about that. That was genuine. It was real. It was something that the fans were genuinely excited about and genuinely waited for. They waited since November to see that face-to-face. And that in itself was the best thing that WWE has done with Becky and Ronda all WrestleMania season. Because it was real. It was real. We didn't really anticipate it. It just happened. It was there. And when it was all over, it gave you a genuine sense of, holy shit, this is a main event of WrestleMania right there. They have not captured that since that moment. And everything they've done is convoluted. And they diluted the entire feud that is Becky, Ronda, and the third wheel, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte pinning Asuka to win the SmackDown Live Women's title. I'm not putting this in here because it was something that I enjoyed. Please don't misconstrue my words. I'm putting it in this list because it's something that is very pertinent to the overall main event of WrestleMania. It was a huge talking point. It was obviously the wrong decision, and Asuka was treated badly. The right decision out of that, the only positive is, and we can only hope, we don't know where WWE's mindset is a merging of the women's divisions and us getting one title overall for the entire division instead of two titles on Raw and SmackDown respectively. I'm going to put this in here because it was a huge talking point, even though it looked like a fucking circus. The multiple arrest angle with Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda on the Raw go-home show. I tried to enjoy it. I even went back and watched it again. It was honestly WWE just throwing shit at the wall and hoping people get excited about it. But it was still a talking point for the overall main event that is WrestleMania. Kofi Kingston replacing Mustafa Ali in the Gauntlet match. going 1 hour and captivating the hearts of everybody watching that particular episode of SmackDown Live. Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan as the final two men in the Elimination Chamber. All great stuff. All really, really great stuff. Kofi Kingston's chase of the WWE title, citing 11 years of never receiving a fair shot at the title. They did try to dip, and I mean gently dip their toes into the entire racism thing. Thank God it wasn't the one thing that was built around this storyline, and they went with the journey that was Kofi Kingston being an 11-year veteran. They did hint at it. WWE has seemingly booked themselves into a fucking corner here. If WWE, and I'll talk about this later on, if WWE doesn't give Kofi Kingston the championship, God knows what social media is going to be uttering on Sunday night. But still, it is a great story, and the underdog story. The guy who has never been given an opportunity, a guy who is constantly told he can't do it or he's not good enough, and then overcomes all the odds. There's no greater story in professional wrestling, in my honest opinion. Randy Orton and AJ Styles, their first promo in ring a couple of weeks ago was absolutely fantastic. This is not even a title match, and probably one of the matches at WrestleMania that I'm looking forward to most. Batista brutally attacking Ric Flair during his birthday party and starting his feud with Triple H. After that, there really isn't anything that WWE has done to get you excited about WrestleMania. Now, I'm going to go back and document, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. 4 matches out of 15 or 16, 17. I don't even know how many matches are going to be WrestleMania 35. But if WWE feels WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year, why are you only focusing on these things? Why are these the only things that stand out during 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks of WrestleMania build? 4 weeks if you really want to narrow it down. 4 weeks. Why? This is WrestleMania season to you? What are you excited about? 8 hours. 8 hours and maybe 2 hours you're excited about. That's not what I call WrestleMania. If I told you this was a list of things during WrestleMania 35 season that stood out, and that was it, would you believe me? If you are clued in on the current product, more than likely, you would believe me. If you're one of these people who refuse to hear the truth because you don't want anyone to burst your little bubble, and you don't want any negativity seeping in, you are not going to believe me. Truth hurts, motherfucker. Truth hurts. This WrestleMania season has been the most chaotic, rushed, uninspired, up there with being one of the most political. We are going to take the fans for granted because we've built WrestleMania up to a point where the matches are the least important aspect of the show in the history of WrestleMania. WrestleMania is not WrestleMania anymore, folks. I said it yesterday on part 1 of episode 268 during my NXT TakeOver New York preview and predictions. NXT TakeOver New York WrestleMania weekend is my WrestleMania. It embodies more of what WrestleMania really is than anything else the WWE is doing this weekend. Any takeover, for that matter. Any takeover. It's the way the shows are supposed to be done. It's the way you show equality to every match, every performer, and it's the way you show the fans that you can be entertaining, caring, mindful, creative, and excited about what you're presenting. I laugh at those people who are excited about going to WrestleMania. I genuinely do. I genuinely do. I might not laugh in your face, but I'm laughing in here. And I'll laugh on the podcast. I genuinely laugh at everybody who's excited about going to WrestleMania. These are the same people who cry to me every single week because I watch Raw every week and complain about it every Monday night right here. WrestleMania has been a watered-down shell of its former glory, yet you still pay insane amount of money to be there. Worse yet, you pay money to sit 70,000 seats away from ringside to sit behind some four-eyed fucking geeky slob who thinks Raw is the best wrestling show on the planet, whose favorite wrestler is Lana, and has Total Divas posters on the wall, daydreaming of kissing Nikki Bella when he should be thinking about wiping the fucking crust off his beard from the 6-day-old pizza he found under his bed because he's too lazy to fucking waddle down to the kitchen and prepare a healthy meal for himself. I remember sitting in my grandma's living room with my grandpa in his rocking chair, waiting eagerly for WrestleMania 5 to start. I was so excited to see the Ultimate Warrior and ravishing Rick Rude. Characters that you'll never see in WWE today. Battle over the IC title. I remember watching Bobby the Brain Heenan hold the Ultimate Warrior's leg on the outside, away from the referee's vantage point, while Rick Rude pinned the Warrior to win and steal the Intercontinental Championship. At that age, I cried. WrestleMania 6 with my dad. I remember watching that at my parents' house, watching one of the biggest main events that company has ever done in Warrior and Hogan. Nothing WWE has done has come even close to replicating that essence of WrestleMania. Moments like Hogan and The Rock. Shit like that is what really makes me believe that WrestleMania, deep down, there's somewhere in WrestleMania's heart that is still fucking pumping blood. You know, it's still there. WrestleMania's biggest moment in the last several years was Daniel Bryan. And that was because of their own negligence. They finally embraced it against their judgment, and it ended up being one of the best moments this company has ever seen because it was real. Everyone felt what Bryan felt. Everyone went through what Bryan went through at least once in their life. You aren't 7 years old anymore. And I don't know why I picked 7 years old, but it's the first thing that popped into my mind because I feel at the age of 10 and onward, you start to realize that it's all bullshit. Especially today with what we know about the business. I'm not saying you can't be excited, but more than likely you're using WrestleMania as an outlet, as an expensive outlet to watch with your friends in very pricey seats while you get drunk, not really paying attention to what's going on, and will only focus on the good instead of opening your mind to the entirety of what the real problems are. You know, the problems are still there. And the more that you neglect those problems and put them to the fucking sidelines just for the afternoon so that you can enjoy yourself because it's WrestleMania, you are the fucking issue. You are the reason the product is fucking terrible. I don't know what else to tell you. Me, on the other hand, will be ready with this very iPad that I'm looking at my notes right now. I will be ready with this very iPad, jotting down everything I see because WWE deserves the criticism. You, adding the fuel to the fire that is WrestleMania, deserve the criticism. They gave us shit. They gave us this WrestleMania season, and you expect me not to criticize them? I'll be ready, willing, and able. I'll be ready with a fucking lightning fast typing fingers right here. I'll be fucking waiting to fling that shit right back at them faster, harder, and more frequently than ever before. The more money this company makes, the worse these shows are. I honestly can't tell the difference between this and, to be fair, Crown Jewel. Both lifeless, both fit into the agenda pool for the very same reason. WWE is greedy, and WWE doesn't give a shit about their fans, no matter how many times the McMahons can come out and say that we are the people who run Monday Night Raw. They've made it a destination, yes, but a destination for what? What is WrestleMania's destination? I can understand if this is your first WrestleMania. I get it. Things in life on the bucket list. But I feel that the presentation in itself is not worth the price of admission. What we've seen for the last 6 to 8 weeks is not worth the price of admission. In short, I don't want to take too much of anyone's time because this show right here Part 2 may be just as long as WrestleMania, and I don't even want to be sitting here doing this right now. WrestleMania has lost its essence. WrestleMania is now just an agenda, a destination for WWE to suck you all into the big stage and the bright lights, trying to convince you that this is the biggest wrestling show of the year, but it's realistically the biggest day of the year for WWE, in which they make the most money for a single show. How important is WrestleMania to WWE when they rather have The Undertaker work Saudi Arabia in May, June, whenever that next event is, when they rather have The Undertaker work Saudi Arabia than an event that is coined wrestling's Super Bowl? You don't need to look any further than that. This is Off the Script, episode 268, part number 2. Everything that is WrestleMania 35. I got more news than there are matches at WrestleMania this year. Do not go anywhere. I will be right back with everything to get you guys ready for WrestleMania 35 right here on Off the Script.
Delete is mine.
People still Man, I want to thank everybody for joining me here on Off the Script. This is episode 268, part number 2 for your Friday. I was going to say Saturday. It's for your Friday WrestleMania weekend, man. Crazy. It's April 5th, 2019. Things are being done a little bit differently because of all the other things that are going on. We'll be back to the regular schedule next week. But I got so much to do, so much to get into. I want to make sure you guys are completely covered on everything. Tonight's, TAKEOVER, I want to make sure that I get the review up. Saturday, I got House of Glory. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So we're going to attack this WrestleMania. Everything is literally going to be WrestleMania related. We're going to go over the mainstream media, CM Punk, and everybody in the wrestling community responding to John Oliver's HBO WWE piece. You guys have wanted my opinion on it, and I'm going to give it to you. It's pretty basic. I don't know why anybody wanted my opinion on it. It's pretty basic, but we'll go over that today as well. We'll go over literally everything that WWE said in the hours to follow that piece. WWE issued a statement on that. What WWE has planned for Elias and his musical performance, Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan, the WrestleMania main event, everything. We're going to go over it today right here on the podcast, man. If you guys missed anything that I uploaded previously, please go and check everything out. We got the final hype for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT on all 3 go-home shows. Make sure you guys go and check that out. Everything you need to know before NXT TakeOver New York tonight. Make sure you guys go and check that out. We premiered it for the first time ever. I premiered it on the channel. YouTube premiere for Off the Script. Over 700 people watching that motherfucker yesterday, man. Thank you guys so very much for all of that. Super chatting and just mingling in the comment section. You guys were great. I look forward to doing that a little bit more often. Not every time, because I'm more of a direct upload type of guy, but, when the occasion calls for it, we'll premiere it. All Elite Wrestling. Jim Ross is now All Elite. If you guys want my thoughts on that Off the Script extra, go and check all that out, as well as everything else this week, man. Link will be in the annotation that you see in the top right corner for all of these videos, right there with the little eye. Make sure you guys go and check that out. Thumbs it up, support, watch, be informed, and more to come this weekend right here on the podcast. Make sure you guys follow me on social media. You guys know the deal with that. At JD from NY206 on both Twitter and Instagram. Thank you guys so very much for that. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications if you guys want the best of anything wrestling related here in the YWC. right here on Off the Script. Patreon.com/JD from NY206 if you guys want to support through the Patreon page. Make sure you guys go and get your t-shirts, man. Bonfire.com/offthescript or /store/offthescript. It's down in the description below. The link you need, the direct link for the Off the Script Bonfire shop is down below in the description. I got to shout out a few people, man, because you guys were late to buy the shirt, and I appreciate you guys very much. I got to shout out Romello, and I got to shout out Michelle. Thank you two so very much for the last-minute orders on the third campaign of JD's Elites. If you guys want your shirt for yourself, link is down in the description, like I mentioned, of this very video. If you guys want to sign up, I got the newsletter. The newsletter should be out for you guys. It should be in your email. jdfromny.com. I would really appreciate you guys sign up. The latest on everything that's happening with the channel and what's going on going into the summer months, videos and anything else that I'm doing this summer as far as collaborating with content creators and just keep up to date on the channel and the videos that are going up. jdfromny.com. You guys can certainly sign up for that. There's no cost at all. It's free. And you guys will hear from me once a week with the newsletter, man. jdfromny.com. Harry's, man. Harry's is the #1 sponsor of the show. I got to shout him out every single week because I love him. And I want you guys to be a part of the Harry's family, man. Become one of 10 million people who have tried Harry's and claim your free offer today by going to harrys.com/script. That's a pretty good deal, man. You're listening to a wrestling podcast, and they're offering you something for free. Now, why Harry's? Why Harry's? Why should Becky Lynch win the Raw and SmackDown Live Women's Championships? Why should Daniel Bryan retain the WWE Championship at Wrestlemania? There's a lot of whys this weekend. Hopefully we'll get the right answer, but why Harry's? Harry's founders were tired of paying for razors that were overpriced, overdesigned. They knew a great shave didn't come from gimmicks like the Demon against Bobby Lashley. No. That doesn't make any sense. They knew a great shave didn't come from gimmicks like vibrating heads, flex balls, handles that look like weird spaceships. These are tactics that the leading brands have used to raise prices for decades. They fixed all that by combining a simple, clean design with quality, durable blades at a fair price. Harry's actually bought a world-class blade factory in Germany as well that's been making quality blades for over 95 years. And they've received over 20,000 five-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google alone. And also, did you know that Harry's cartridges, their replacement cartridges, are just $2? That's half the price of a Gillette Fusion Pro Shield. And all Harry's blades come with a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know and they'll give you a full refund. What you're getting is the following: weighted handle. Choice of color is yours. You got the orange, the blue, and the green. Someone told me, I don't know who it was, that they have a fourth color. It's like a sea blue. Whatever. Get all four. I might get that sea blue for myself. 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade. Rich lathering shave gel. It soothes, it hydrates, it smells fantastic. Believe me, it does. And you're going to get a travel blade cover as well if you're a man on the go or businessman who needs to travel for work. Or if you're a regular goon like me who likes my razor to look nice on the bathroom sink, man. Travel blade cover included. Listeners of Off the Script can redeem their trial by going to harrys.com/script. Make sure you go to harrys.com/script to redeem your trial offer and let them know that I sent you to help support Off the Script. I want to start off by talking about the John Oliver piece on HBO. Now, I didn't watch it the night that it aired. I watched it at the request of many of you the next morning. I watched it, and I watched it again, and I actually enjoyed what I seen and what I heard. I find John Oliver to be quite funny. I love his sense of humor, and I love his execution most out of all. I think his delivery is very good. But whatever he stated on his show was nothing new. And everybody is going bonkers and crazy over it because it's finally out in the mainstream media. Like, people have been so worried about bringing this topic to light and having somebody pick up on it. John Oliver, you got to respect his stance on it. He just didn't give a shit. It was something important enough to him that he wanted to raise awareness on. And he picked the perfect fucking time to do it. It's WrestleMania week, where WWE is literally in everybody's mouth. Can you blame him? No, you can't. You cannot. John Oliver's last week tonight took plenty of shots at WWE during their latest episode. This was right in time for WrestleMania. Now, I hope WWE doesn't have stupid fans at MetLife Stadium sabotage some of the matches with fucking chants based off what they heard on the show. I don't think that's going to be a cause for concern at all. But the mainstream media did pick up on this. Not only did the mainstream media, CM Punk also picked up on this. CM Punk was actually featured during this episode as well, and a famous tweet that he sent out in December of 2013 about shitting his pants during a match was shown. This tweet was later deleted by Punk, but they were able to grab it for the episode. When CM Punk saw this, he couldn't help but voice his true feelings about John Oliver and his HBO show. I shit my britches. Please, RT. And then he adds last week tonight, quote, I love you, at I am John Oliver. CM Punk right now is obviously happy. He is away from WWE. He's doing his own thing. No sign of returning to the company at all. No matter how many fucking blithering idiots in the community want to make videos on CM Punk and his impending return. CM Punk, come back to the WWE, breaking news! Anyway, I know he's watching, because I seen him in the comments of the last 6 videos. I know you're watching, bro. I know you're watching. You got other fucking problems to concern yourself with another Jerry in the community. I know. Anyway. Now, WWE and the Saudi Arabian deal, they were mentioned as well, or this was mentioned. They mentioned it, meaning John Oliver mentioned it. They got this going on right now. Obviously, this attracted some mainstream attention. Obviously, the death of that reporter that was over there that was just dismembered and his body parts just strewn about in the garden over there. This is why John Oliver focused on them a bit during last week tonight on Sunday, because the main subject was, in fact, Saudi Arabia. During the short mention of WWE, Oliver brought up the fact that WWE is in a 10-year deal and being used as a propaganda tool. It was pretty apparent at the same time while watching the Greatest Royal Rumble, and they played several parts of the show that support that point. Yes, they said that WWE is as into Saudi Arabia as it is a latently homoerotic, which is something that you have to deal with whenever people try to make jokes about pro wrestling. In the punchline of the WWE section of his monologue, Oliver held up his hand and did the John Cena "you can't see me" motion while saying WWE can't see human rights abuses that takes place around the 17-minute mark of the show. Oliver went back at WWE after the update that the Crown Jewel event will go on as scheduled, and it was not pretty at all. During their weekly updates before the main story, John Oliver brought up the Greatest Royal Rumble and showed Titus O'Neil's legendary slip down the ramp where he slid under the ring while saying, and I quote, I just don't think there are any better encapsulation of WWE's relationship with Saudi Arabia than a wrestler meeting Saudi Arabian princes before falling flat on his face. End quote. They also showed The Undertaker's promo on Raw a couple of weeks ago where the crowd booed Taker when he mentioned Crown Jewel, meaning a couple of weeks before Crown Jewel, where he was building up his, I guess, match with the D-Generation X aging members of Triple H and HBK, Shawn Michaels. I quote, I think the WWE itself just turned heel. Do you know how much it takes for wrestling fans to boo a wrestling event at a wrestling event? That is the kind of reaction you'd expect to hear if the WWE Championship was suddenly won by Beck. End quote. Who listens to Beck? My God, you must have terrible taste in music. Or drink Beck's beer, which I don't really mind that often. Beck's beer is a nice alternative to the garbage that you usually see, like Budweiser or Coors Light. They mentioned the insensitive Instagram post from WWE, then they made fun of the dead man by saying that his catchphrase is, "Boo, I'm a big beef ghost here to drive you to hell. Boo, I'm a beef ghost. Boo." End quote. The last week tonight, editing department closed off the segment by playing a promo in the style of a cartoonish WWE, complete with pro wrestling clips saying that there are no female wrestlers allowed to wrestle and John Cena will be there if he wants to take a major PR hit. They said someone will rest in pieces while joking about the reporter over there who was obviously resting in pieces, pun intended. So there you have it. And then they end it with 2 words, suck it. Obviously famously made by D-Generation X. Now WWE made a statement over John Oliver, and obviously they went into the entire, obviously John Oliver did as well, the unionization of wrestlers and the fact that WWE doesn't provide their wrestlers with health care and the fact that there's no off season and how Vince McMahon doesn't care for his performers, that everybody is an independent contractor and this is what is used in the contract per term WWE, so they don't have to offer that type of deal. WWE issued a statement on John Oliver's piece that aired last night on HBO, or this week rather on HBO. For those that missed it, you guys can certainly watch it on YouTube. This is WWE's statement. John Oliver is clearly a clever and humorous entertainer. However, the subject matter covered in his WWE segment is no laughing matter. Prior to airing, WWE responded to his producers, refuting every point in his one-sided presentation. John Oliver simply ignored the facts. The health and wellness of our performers is the single most aspect of our business, and we have a comprehensive, long-standing talent wellness program. We invite John Oliver to attend Wrestlemania this Sunday to learn more about our company. End quote. My thoughts on this. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. It's about time someone brought this to the mainstream attention. I thought it was well delivered. I thought it was done in a very tongue-in-cheek way. Also, while maintaining seriousness. John Oliver is clearly a WWE fan. Throughout the entire 24 minutes, John Oliver constantly praised professional wrestling. Meaning that he's a fan, and the stupidity and the nonsensical bullshit that we see, him citing a bunch of Attitude Era shit. I mean, he didn't really say anything about what's going on now because all of it's fucking boring and lifeless. I mean, bringing back old clips of Austin doing the beer truck and Kurt Angle doing the milk truck and just a bunch of just risque things and the outlandish things that we used to see in the Attitude Era. Obviously, he is a fan of a certain era of WWE. In the grand scheme, he's a certain type of fan that WWE has. He loves the business, okay? He appreciates what the WWE has done over the course of all these years. But he's a comedian, and comedians are supposed to be funny, and he hides truth in humor. What he stated was true. Everything that he stated was true. He didn't throw WWE under the bus. If he wanted to throw WWE under the bus, I think John Oliver could have certainly just gone completely balls to the wall and shit all over WWE. Nothing he said was new information. It just needed to come from someone like him, and it needed to be brought into light. I don't see any reason to be upset about what he stated. It's true. Now, granted, I will side on WWE with one thing. You know, the mortality rate in WWE or in professional wrestling in general is, and still is, very high. Okay? Yes, WWE could do a better job at taking care of their old-time performers. They even cited, you know, it's very heartbreaking to see fucking Jake the Snake have to go through a GoFundMe page to pay for a fucking surgery to make his fucking life after wrestling peaceful. WWE should be taking care of everybody that gave their fucking souls to this company. For WWE to turn a blind eye and turn the other cheek to a situation like that, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. They cited Owen Hart's death. They used a clip of Bret Hart after the screw job in Montreal. Obviously, Bret was fucking fuming like a volcano at that point, so clearly he had nothing good to say about the WWE. They cited a Vince McMahon interview where he had these questions. I don't know when it was probably around the same time, where he was asked these questions and he was just very forceful with the interviewer, knocking the fucking the question sheet out of the guy's hand and being very physical with him because he didn't want to hear it. Truth hurts, and that's the reaction of someone who is getting their shit pushed in and doesn't want to face reality, you know? But I honestly thought it was well done. It needed to be said. And the only fact of it that I didn't like is that they used old pieces of interviews strewn about, talking about how WWE, you know, in the Bret Hart situation, in his case, you know, Vince McMahon uses all of his talents like fucking puppets, you know, or they're prized pieces, prized animals, and when that animal can't go anymore, he takes him out back and fucking shoots him dead. He's got no use for you anymore. That's pretty much what Bret Hart was saying, you know? I don't think that's the case now. I think WWE is more sensitive to these types of issues, no matter how bullshit their wellness policy is or their drug testing program and anything that they do. You know, they do the rehab, the sponsored rehab when an old timer or a Hall of Famer goes through a really depressing and down period in their life, and they're abusing themselves with substances or alcoholism, drugs, or whatever it may be. WWE admits them into their sponsored rehab, which is great. Does it happen for everybody? No. It doesn't happen for everybody, you know? But it is a different day and age in WWE. The schedule is a little bit more, compared to back then, it's definitely a little bit easier than it was back in the day. You know, with the stories that you heard of guys wrestling 3 or 4 different nights and taking painkillers or just drinking their fucking pain away, and how difficult it was to actually work in the ring back in the 70s and 80s. Like, it was almost as if it was fucking concrete, slamming your body on concrete for 3 or 4 different nights just to earn a living. You know, it's not as body breaking as it is now. It's still professional wrestling. You're still risking your life, but WWE is more mindful of the wrestlers' well-being now. It's definitely a different day and age. They are definitely more mindful of everything that's going on right now. But again, at the end of the day, whatever was said here was something that needed to be brought into the mainstream. It needed to be talked about, because how WWE is getting away with some of the things that they're doing is ludicrous. And yeah, I do still get a sense of Vince McMahon, when he doesn't have any use for you, he'll just bring you out back and just fucking shoot you dead. And then he'll move on to the next fucking, you know, star in his eyes or prize piece. That one guy that's going to fucking give Vince McMahon that twinkle in his eye. And then, you know, whoever else was breaking their body for Vince, when he doesn't need you anymore, doesn't find any more value, or, you know, he doesn't see any more money in you. Goodbye. Goodbye. But if everybody that ever worked for the WWE, you know, gave their life and their body and their soul and their time to Vince McMahon, they should at least be compromised to a point where we're not looking at the fucking news articles and seeing someone drop dead at 45, or, you know, someone who's 60 and he can fucking barely walk. He looks like he's 90. You know, I love this business, and it breaks my heart to see guys like Jake have to go out on a GoFundMe page and, you know, raise $70,000 fucking dollars. That shouldn't be the fans' obligation. We do it because this is how important these people are to us. How many times have I said it? We invite these people into our home every single fucking week. This is how important they are to us. Of course the fans are going to do that because we love them. We love them. Vince should feel that same love for everybody that gave their life to Vince. Why is it the fans are taking care of everybody that seen life after WWE, and Vince just continues to move on? Money, 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 money. Instead of thinking back to who got him to where he is today. It's ridiculous. I thought it was a great piece. He's a fucking comedian, people. He's a comedian. Don't take what he said in a joking manner so fucking seriously. Pull your fucking underwear up and be a big boy and stop fucking crying and complaining for no fucking reason. It was a very well done piece. He's a fan of WWE, and he didn't throw WWE under the bus. He actually commended and really spoke highly of how great and entertaining pro wrestling is, and the fucking fact that we have these superstars that we've grown up watching, how many smiles they brought to our face, and how crazy and fucking entertaining it was. He didn't throw them under the bus. Everything was hidden in comedy. All that truth was hidden in comedy, but it's something that needed to be said. I thought it was very well done. As long as they didn't bring up the fucking Chris Benoit situation, he could have easily went there, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it. He mainly talked about why everybody that works for WWE who goes on to either die or fucking just look terrible after their life in WWE, why are they not being compensated for? Why are they not being taken care of? So I thought it was very well done. CM Punk obviously was going to say something about it, but it is what it is, man. I thought it was a very well done piece by John Oliver. Funny that it happened during WrestleMania, but that's just the good business acumen of John Oliver. No better place to do it, no better time to do it than right before WrestleMania, when most eyes are on WWE. Anything WWE related is going to be picked up on. It's a good business move for him. It would have made no sense for him to do. Actually, it really wouldn't have mattered, but to maximize the eyes on his statement and what he wanted to get out there, this was the best time to do it. Now, we know Alexa Bliss is the host of WrestleMania. Apparently, she has creative power. She's booking matches left and right here. I don't know who bestowed Alexa Bliss the fucking creative wand, but it is what it is. No sense whatsoever. Now, she's the host. I'd rather her be the host than actually wrestle for a championship or wrestle, period. This role for her suits her. But WWE, they usually have a musical act. I'm waiting for 1 year where they get Alter Bridge to play fucking WrestleMania. Why don't we get someone who's actually talented to play WrestleMania? I don't understand it. But there is a musical act at WrestleMania. It's not a quote-unquote musical act, but it's Elias. What WWE has planned for Elias's musical concert at WrestleMania. Dave Meltzer discussed the WrestleMania situation with Elias, and it's not really a match, but it's more of who is going to interfere during his biggest performance of all time. Now, it seems like the plan for Elias is something that Elias is not going to appreciate too much. Meltzer says, and I quote, "One thing that I do know is that there definitely is a plan for something involving Elias. Someone's shutting Elias up. So that could be anyone, any number of people. Many people have speculated that it could be John Cena. Many people have speculated that it could be The Undertaker. Many people have speculated that it could be The Rock. So it could be any one of those people. It could be all three throughout the night, leading to The Rock coming out and finally shutting him up with a rock bottom. We'll have to wait and see, but Elias's role more than likely is going to be playing in front of 75,000 with a number of people trying to interrupt him. It's not going to be the same number of people or the same caliber of people that we see on Monday Night Raw. Obviously, it's going to be much bigger on a WrestleMania scale for Elias's WrestleMania concert. Now, I got so much news to go over, man. I got all these matches here, and I want to start at the bottom. And I want to work my way up to the very most important. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom here. This is in no particular order. I hope I didn't forget anything, but we'll see what happens. Going to start off with Bobby Trashley versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental title. This has been completely fucking terrible. I really don't understand how anyone is excited about this. I don't know how anyone is excited about Bobby Lashley holding the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know how anyone is excited about Finn Balor dropping the title to Bobby Lashley and having this match happen again. Wasn't once or twice or three times enough for this feud. We all figured that it was going to be a little bit better for Balor going into WrestleMania than Bobby Lashley. Now, I do know that The Undertaker has already signed off on a few opponents right now on the current WWE roster that he would still like to face throughout the year. Undertaker has stated that he's not done. Balor is one of them. I would not be surprised if we see Balor and The Undertaker next year at WrestleMania in Tampa. The Demon Balor versus The Undertaker. This could be a way that Balor, I don't know when his contract is up. Maybe it's up next year. Maybe this is a way that WWE entices Balor to stay. Listen, we'll give you a big money match. We'll give you The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Might be used in a leverage negotiation there with Finn Balor. Drew McIntyre is another one that The Undertaker has signed off on. He'd love to face Drew McIntyre as well. But at the Elimination Chamber, Balor defeated Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush in a 2-on-1 handicap match. He didn't even pin Bobby Lashley to win the Intercontinental Championship, so clearly something was up there. Lashley regained the title soon after that on Raw, thanks to the assistance of Rush, making Balor look like an idiot. It was on March 25th, where Balor originally was scheduled to face Lashley and Rush in a handicap match, where if he won, he would receive a title match at WrestleMania. But as Rush was not medically cleared, his replacement was Jinder Mahal, former WWE champion. I'm not sure if you guys remember that. You know, the day and age where SmackDown Live was at the bottom of the fucking barrel in the pro wrestling world. Yeah, how you could get worse than Monday Night Raw is fucking unbelievable. Mahal did it. So, Balor had to fight off Lashley, Mahal, the Singh brothers, and Rush. 5 men. 5 men, and he won by pinning Mahal, and he got his Intercontinental Championship match. And then the go-home show, we seen the Demon emerge. My Demon will be your nightmare at WrestleMania. Why the Demon is showing up at WrestleMania this year when he didn't show up last year at WrestleMania? He didn't show up all year. He didn't even show up for fucking Brock Lesnar, but he's going to show up for Bobby fucking Lashley. Now, to some fucking random idiot out there, well, it's Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley could beat anybody. Bobby Lashley's terrible. Bobby Lashley's terrible. I think Balor the Man could beat Bobby Lashley for the Intercontinental Championship. He shouldn't have to channel his inner demon. This is a waste of the demon persona. I'm going with Balor. There's no question that if Balor's showing up as the Demon, he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Balor will be the new IC champion. The Usos. The Usos. We could have got the Usos, Jimmy and Jay versus Matt and Jeff Hardy for the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. We didn't get that. We didn't get that. You think the Usos would have been valued more that they had some type of fucking build for WrestleMania? Clearly not. WWE booked their match with 1 week to go. Randomly. Alexa Bliss, who is now head of creative, apparently. She came out on SmackDown Live on the go-home show. And the Usos won a 8-man tag, teaming with Aleister Black and Ricochet against The Bar and Rusev and Nakamura. Now, the Usos won that match. They pinned Rusev with a double super kick. And the week before, when the New Day, Xavier and Big E were trying to get Kofi into the main event in a tag team gauntlet match, it came down to the New Day and the Usos. The Usos wanted Kofi in the main event, so they forfeited that portion of the gauntlet match and said, you know what, Us, we're not going to battle you. We want Kofi in the main event. We forfeit. So Alexa Bliss comes out on the go-home show of SmackDown Live and says, due to you forfeiting that match with the New Day, there is now consequences to be paid. And the result of these actions is now you defending the tag team titles against every team that you had in that 8-man tag, meaning Aleister Black and Ricochet, Rusev and Nakamura, and The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. So it's a fatal 4-way, 4 corners, SmackDown Live tag team title match, instead of us getting a standard, classic tag team match with the Usos and the Hardys. This is just WWE's way of getting everybody on the show and just making a huge mess of literally everything. Now, I did mention that we had the Usos sign contracts. They actually re-signed with the WWE. Now, I don't know why. I really don't know why. They must be comfortable. They have to be comfortable if they're staying with the WWE for what is being reported as a 5-year contract. Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet is reporting that It's a 5-year deal that came with a pay raise. That raise in pay very well might have been the cherry on top of the cake for the Usos. Now, I don't know if they negotiated with AEW or they even wanted to negotiate with AEW. I don't think they could have negotiated with AEW because they took this money and they ran. So, how did they even test the waters to see what AEW would offer them? They took this money, they took this raise, they took this 5-year lengthened contract, and they're staying with the WWE. Why? Because WWE's family. WWE is comfortable for them. All their friends and family are in WWE, which is more than enough reason for them to stay. But if they wanted creativity, and I hope that this does not mean that the Usos are merely driven by money and cash. They know that WWE's tag team division on both Raw and SmackDown are fucking horrendous. They are much better than what they are being given right now. Creatively, they could have had a field day in AEW. I hope to God that they know what they're doing. This was something that was probably, very certain that they were staying. Same thing with Randy Orton. Randy Orton's not going anywhere. All those rumors about Randy Orton going to AEW a couple of months back, he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. I thought the Usos legitimately would have tested the waters or at least heard the AEW side of things, but they didn't. I just hope to God they know what they're doing. Because right now, with the tag team division, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. So you got the Usos, you got the team of Nakamura and Rusev, The Bar, and then Aleister Black and Ricochet. I'm going with the Usos. I think that WWE will go with the Usos here. They are easily the best tag team in WWE on the main roster right now. There's no reason to take the titles off of them. Those titles were made for them. Nakamura and Rusev are going to be a non-factor. I don't even know if Nakamura has signed a new deal with the WWE. His deal is all about up right now. The Bar, they've seen their day. Aleister Black and Ricochet, they went from the Raw Tag Team titles to the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. It seems like they're just being forced on everybody, and I don't really see them winning the Tag Team titles. I would much rather see them on their own separately. I'm going with the Usos to retain. I think they're going to pin Nakamura and Rusev here in this Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. Now, I want to move on here from that and go into the Women's Tag Team Championships. The Women's Tag Team Championships. I got news on how the Women's Tag Team Championships were actually, I guess, conceived. And what Sasha Banks and Bayley had to do with Vince McMahon to kind of get him to create the titles. There was a news article I found this week that Vince McMahon was pressured into introducing the women's tag team titles. Now, during a recent interview with Sky Sports, Sasha Banks discussed the women's tag team titles and all that they went through in order to make this happen. It took a lot of meetings with Vince McMahon, but it eventually happened with the right amount of pressure. It felt like the whole of last year we were asking, like we would be knocking on the door of Vince's office every week. Me and Bayley would go up to him, and some weeks he'd say no, and some weeks he'd say yes, and then bam, it's here. So that just proves that you should never give up on your dreams. If you're annoying enough, you can make things happen, and that's probably what happened. He just got annoyed with us. So that's what Sasha Banks said about the Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, the Boston Hug Connection, Bayley and Sasha Banks, they actually won the titles in the Elimination Chamber. Came down to them and Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. They eventually had the team of the Samoan Steakhouse, Nia Jax, who likes her steak rare, and Tamina, who loves mashed potatoes. They were thrown into this deal, and the Iconics were thrown into this deal as well. Now, we eventually got Beth Phoenix and Natalya thrown into this. Beth Phoenix came out of retirement to reform the Divas of Doom with Natalya and challenged for the championships at WrestleMania 35. That was the beginning of this. Then Tamina and Nia Jax got added. Then the Iconics got added simply because they were crying that Sasha and Bayley didn't show up on SmackDown Live. So, All of this was rumored before WrestleMania even thought of a women's tag team title match. The rumor was that it was going to be a four corners match, and that it was going to be one team from SmackDown, one team from Raw, one team from NXT, and a Legends team. Now, I was thinking it was going to be Trish and Lita, Sasha and Bayley, could have been Io and Kyrie, and it could have been the Iconics, because they're the only legit team on SmackDown Live. Or it could have been Mandy and Sonya. How I feel for Mandy and Sonya now that they added the fucking Iconics to this match. It was Asuka losing the title was felt all over. Not only did the situation hurt Asuka and take her out of a WrestleMania match, it was supposed to be Asuka and Mandy Rose at WrestleMania. With Asuka losing the title, that put Mandy Rose in the Battle Royal. Don't you think that Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville would be better off in this match than the fucking Iconics? Come on, dude. So Asuka losing that title was felt all over, not just in her match, but in the tag team title match as well. How many people are going to mention that in their fucking reviews? Sasha and Bayley lost to the Iconics on SmackDown Live in a non-title match. Champions losing. Champions losing before WrestleMania. The following night, well, the following week, I should say, on Raw, after stating that they would defend the titles against anyone, the Boss and Hug Connection were scheduled to defend the title against Nia Jax, Tamina, the Divas of Doom, and the Iconics in a fatal four-way tag team title match. The only reason why the Iconics were there, and to justify that they belong, is that they beat the tag team champions. This entire shit has been nothing more than a shit show. This match went from being something that could have been exciting at WrestleMania to completely fucking worthless. Now you know which one of these matches, there are several of them, this is one of them, that you will leave to get up and use the bathroom or go get a beer, or if you're home, go take a dump, go walk the dog, go get a fucking another dish of pizza rolls, whatever. Whatever. This match is completely fucking worthless. I'm going with Sasha and Bayley, and there's a reason why. I could see the WWE giving the titles to the Iconics. But the Iconics are garbage. They're not doing anything with the fucking titles. They would be the worst representation of champions that you could ever even think of. Sasha and Bayley are going to win this because the TakeOver after WrestleMania weekend is going to be a standalone event in San Jose, California. If there isn't an NXT team that is challenging Sasha and Bayley on that show, that is a huge missed opportunity. I'm going with Sasha and Bayley based off that. I could be wrong because that's too logical for WWE. I could be wrong, and Sunday night, I could see the Iconics win the titles, and then when I come here to do the review, I'm not even going to review the match because I know it's going to be fucking terrible. I'm going with Sasha and Bayley because it makes the most sense. Nobody else deserves those championships right now in that tag team division. Audible. You guys deserve something for free because you're listening to me talk about WrestleMania tonight. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Audible wants to give you 30 days of their service and one free audiobook of your choice. All you have to do is this. Listen to me. It's so easy. Pick up your mobile device, either Android or iPhone devices. Download the Audible app. That's step one. Step two, you're going to go to audibletrial.com/offthescript. Enter your information. They're going to give you, upon completion, 30 days of their service for free. Free. On top of that, you signed up, you got the 30 days. They're going to give you a free audiobook of your choice. There's 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling related. Make sure you guys go and get your free trial and audiobook today. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Great way to support the show for basically doing nothing more than listening to the podcast, man. Thank you guys so very much for your support on not only Harry's, but audibletrial.com/offthescript. Man, I feel like I should be ending the show right now, man. There's just so many matches. I feel like I went over a whole pay-per-view worth of matches already. Anyway, it's WrestleMania, right? It's not WrestleMania unless there's 87 fucking matches on the show. One I was actually looking forward to was Samoa Joe and what he would be doing at WrestleMania. And WWE really fucked that up. They gave Samoa Joe the United States Championship. And they booked him in a match against Rey Mysterio. Now, the reason why this was booked as the United States Championship match is A, WWE doesn't give a fuck about the United States title, and it's just there to fill up space. But at Fastlane, Samoa Joe retains the United States Championship in a Fatal 4-Way match. He actually won the title in the same Fatal 4-Way. I believe it might have been a week before that. And they had him defend the title at the Fastlane pay-per-view by making Rey Mysterio pass out to the Coquina Clutch. He retained the title. Now, on the following episode of SmackDown Live, Mysterio pinned Samoa Joe in a tag team match that teamed Mysterio and Truth versus Andrade, Cien Almas, and Samoa Joe. And in typical WWE fashion, the champion gets pinned by someone, and then boom, you got yourself a match. As if we're fucking playing WWE 2K19. You know, it doesn't work that way. Doesn't really work that way. What about R-Truth? What about Almas? So you're going to book Mysterio and Joe and leave out Almas, who had more to do with Rey Mysterio than anything. So that's the way this match came to be. And Dominic, Rey Mysterio's son, was going to be sitting at ringside during this match. Now, this match might not even happen. WWE might actually have to change this match in the days leading into WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio was injured. He was injured in his match against Baron Corbin on Monday Night Raw. You know, that fantastic main event that is going to go down as the best match of the year on Monday Night Raw, the go-home show? Now, I don't know when the injury took place, but the injury is now leaving the Samoa Joe match and the United States title in jeopardy. Mysterio faced Baron Corbin in the main event of Raw this week, but he was injured during the match, suffered an ankle injury, and no more information was released on this. Mysterio has come out and stated that he's trying his best to be at WrestleMania. WWE has even, promoted the match as still being a match on the show. Now, due to the injury, Mysterio's match against Andrade was canceled on SmackDown Live, and he will be reevaluated as we get closer to WrestleMania. This match with Joe is in jeopardy. It was kind of a big deal because his son Dominic was set to be part of the story. If Mysterio is injured and he's not able to go, there is a simple solution for this. Take this, make it a ladder match, add Joe, Mustafa Ali, R-Truth, Andrade, and make it a fucking 4-way ladder match. Or you can make it another 4-way. I don't even want to talk about 4-ways. There's so many fucking 4-ways. You could do that. Or the simpler solution, you can make Joe versus Ali for the United States Championship. Ali could take Mustafa Ali, by the way, clowns. You could take Mustafa Ali and have him take Mysterio's spot, and you could put him in the United States Championship situation, and there you got a match. I'm sure it'll be entertaining. Mustafa Ali at WrestleMania, he's going to fucking bring his best. But if Mysterio is able to go, I'm going with Joe. There's no reason why Mysterio is going to win this match. So if Mysterio is injured and he's still going to do the match, it doesn't make sense to give him the championship. I'm going with Samoa Joe because Joe has done nothing with the title. He's lost and lost and lost. 3 straight weeks of losses. He beat Mustafa Ali clean by the Coquina Clutch on SmackDown Live. Doesn't really constitute as a title reign worthy of the United States Championship. I'm going with Samoa Joe to retain here over an injured Rey Mysterio. If not, I expect Mustafa Ali to be added to the United States Championship match at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Roman Reigns is in remission. Awesome. Roman Reigns is in remission. He went on hiatus due to his leukemia. Comes back and explained that he's in remission and he would be back in action. Fastlane, Reigns, Ambrose, and Rollins reunited for the last time ever against Bobby Lashley. You had Drew McIntyre and you had Baron Corbin. There you go. What a main event. Man, what a fucking main event for Fastlane, man. People couldn't get over the fact that we've seen this fucking for 7 months now. Different fucking iterations of it. 7 months now we've seen it, and people were still excited about it because Roman Reigns is in remission. So Roman Reigns is back, and obviously they were going to use him at WrestleMania. If he's healthy enough, why the hell not? The Shield performed their signature triple powerbomb on McIntyre through the broadcast table. Following night on Raw, Reigns, who had not competed on Raw in 5 months, was scheduled to face Baron Corbin on Monday Night Raw. Baron Corbin's had more main event matches than fucking Brock Lesnar in 2019 and 18. Believe that? Anyway, 5 months without Roman on Raw? Sounds like a good fucking time to me. Scheduled to face Baron Corbin, but McIntyre attacked Reigns before the match, giving him concussion symptoms. Ambrose came out, faced McIntyre in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Ambrose got buried. McIntyre challenged Reigns to a WrestleMania match and then defeated Rollins later that night on Raw. McIntyre brought up Reigns' leukemia and his family and his wife and his daughter. Reigns accepted the challenge. They get into a big brawl. He's laid out again. Reigns said that although McIntyre's previous attack had kept him out of action for a couple of weeks, he was cleared to compete at WrestleMania. McIntyre then attacked Roman Reigns again from behind. There's a common theme here, folks. Reigns attacked. Reigns attacked. Reigns attacked. This should be a decent undercard match, but one that I am not looking forward to because I know the end result before we even get into New Jersey. Roman Reigns is going to win at WrestleMania and stand up for his family, his wife, his daughter, and the fact that he had leukemia. Roman Reigns, I would not be surprised if he's back in the Universal title picture at Saudi Arabia's next event, which we'll talk about a little later. Roman Reigns is going one-on-one with Drew McIntyre, and Roman Reigns is going to beat Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. McIntyre was recently interviewed. He made an appearance on DC 101 while WWE was in Washington, D.C. He spoke about a wide variety of topics, and he said that he is having high expectations for his match with Roman Reigns. He says, and I quote, "I got butterflies. I got the nerves. The day that stops is the day I retire. I feel beyond ready with someone like Roman, who you like and everybody likes and is used to that big stage. Roman's used to that big stage, a phenomenal performer, physical like myself. I know we're going to bring something that no one else will be able to compete with because we're two big physical guys. It's going to be a war. It's going to be great." Now, this has the opportunity to be something that a lot of people really aren't looking forward to and kind of exceeding people's expectations. I think a lot of people are going into this like, it is what it is. But that's good for them. That's good for them because if they do anything that is completely unexpected, you know, it's going to be something that stands out by the end of the night. This match for Drew is bigger than it is for Roman. This is a bigger match for Drew than it is for Roman because Roman has main evented, you know, nauseously the last 4 years at WrestleMania. And the fact that Drew McIntyre is back in the WWE, this is his first WrestleMania back since being with the company, and he's already at WrestleMania in a match against someone who's main evented WrestleMania 4 times. You know, in the grand scheme of things, that's a big deal. No matter who Roman is or if you like Roman or not, that's a big deal. But I'm going with Roman. Roman's going to win here, and there's no other choice in the matter here for this match at WrestleMania. AJ Styles and Randy Orton is something that I'm looking forward to. It's a non-title match, and I'm actually looking forward to this because it's the one match that if you were to ask me, AJ Styles has fought everybody on SmackDown Live, but really hasn't had Randy Orton in a big-time match. They mingled it up a little bit, and it was not really for anything. It was maybe 8 or 9 minutes on SmackDown Live, just a throwaway match. This is on WrestleMania stage, and I'm actually looking forward to this very much. Now, they were going back and forth, interrupting each other's backstage segments, just, you know, whatever, walking by casually in the back. AJ might be doing an interview. Randy Orton walks by. Randy Orton's doing an interview. AJ Styles walks by. It was that one night where they were in the middle of the ring and they were face-to-face with each other. That's when it all really got going as far as this feud goes. Now, at the Elimination Chamber, Orton eliminated Styles in the Elimination Chamber. Clearly, that was seeds planted for an eventual feud. At Fastlane, after Orton had attacked Elias with an RKO, he was by himself, and then Styles attacked him with a phenomenal forearm. So, tit for tat, back and forth. SmackDown Live the following week, Orton took to Styles, referring to SmackDown as the house that AJ Styles built, and Orton says this is the house that Orton has owned pretty much the majority of his career. And this is where it all really got started, like I said. They were back and forth. Since Orton began his career on SmackDown Live in 2002, he became very successful. Styles debuted in WWE in 2016 at the Royal Rumble that year. Spent most of his year on the independent circuit from 1998 to 2016. With Orton referencing Styles' time in Ring of Honor and TNA, Styles responded by saying that Orton had everything handed to him because of his family's name and his family's lineage, while Styles actually had to work for it. Styles eventually challenged Orton to a match at WrestleMania 35, which was made official. That back and forth was fucking great. They mentioned Dixie Carter, or Orton, rather, did mention Dixie Carter's time in TNA. The fact that he worked bingo halls and armories while Randy Orton was wrestling at WrestleMania against The Undertaker. And then as of this past Tuesday on SmackDown Live, we seen the brawl that happened after the Kevin Owens show. And it was AJ Styles going for a phenomenal forearm, and out of the phenomenal forearm came an RKO. So WWE gave away a potential spot with the RKO on SmackDown Live for free instead of saving something like that for WrestleMania. Now, I'm only hoping that they have something bigger planned for the RKO. Maybe out of the 450 that he does springboard off the top. Or maybe somewhere else. I don't know. You know, if someone's going to come up with something very ingenious for the RKO, it'll be AJ Styles. But I'm looking forward to this match because it really is a tale of two stories. The typical WWE guy versus the indie darling. And I think the two roles for both of these guys are played beautifully. Orton is that fucking prick who hates everything about the indies, the flips and the dives, and the fact that AJ Styles' friends have copied Too Sweet. You know, and then AJ Styles, the guy who is, you know, respected by everybody. Worked the indies. Got to the WWE. And all that. This is a great fucking story. This is great, and I'm excited about this because it plays off real emotion, and it plays off real scenarios. So I'm very much looking forward to this. And I'm going with Randy Orton. I really am. I'm going with Randy Orton because I do not expect this to be a one and done. I expect this to continue on WWE television with Orton eventually getting the best over Randy Orton. Now, the only thing that might stop this from continuing is the superstar shakeup. For months, years, WWE has wanted AJ Styles on Monday Night Raw. And I know there were reports back when, you know, there was the last shakeup that AJ Styles was wanted by Vince on Monday Night Raw. That's the only thing that would stop this feud. AJ Styles going to Raw would pretty much put an end to this feud. But I'm not sure if AJ Styles is moving to Monday Night Raw because WWE has kind of offset that by the call-ups of Aleister Black and Ricochet. We might see more call-ups. We might see Shayna, and we might see Velveteen Dream on Monday Night Raw. We don't know. So it might be beneficial for Styles to stay on SmackDown Live because he's a big name. And, you know, the house that AJ Styles built, he's been the focus of that brand. He's been the face of that brand for many years. I'm going with Randy Orton regardless. No matter where AJ Styles ends up, I'm going with Randy, and I'm thinking about Randy right now and this feud continuing on. Randy Orton is going to pin AJ Styles with an RKO out of a 450, and that's what I think is going to happen. If they can pull it off, my God, man, that would be in the top 3 RKOs of all time, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what these guys do at Mania, and I hope they get a decent amount of time. Shane McMahon and The Miz. This is something that I want to be excited for, and being that it is a Falls Count Anywhere match, I am kind of looking forward to it because this plays right into the wheelhouse of Shane McMahon. So we'll see what happens there. To be honest with you, I wasn't excited when the thought of this was happening. They didn't really buy me in on everything, but I have to give credit where credit is due. This was a very well-produced and thought-out storyline. It might have been simple. It might have been basic. It might have been, you know, a little cringe to see The Miz as a babyface. But I honestly think Shane McMahon and The Miz has been very well done, to give credit where credit is due. Now, at Crown Jewel, Shane McMahon won the World Cup, replacing The Miz in the finals, who was deemed, you know, injured or hurt. He was not able to compete in a pre-match brawl with Dolph Ziggler. Then this began The Miz's pursuit to form a tag team with Shane McMahon, claiming that they would be the best tag team in the world based off Shane being the best in the world. Shane was hesitant and finally agreed on becoming a tag team. The two won SmackDown Live Tag Team titles at the Royal Rumble, beating The Bar. Then they lost the titles at the Elimination Chamber and failed to regain them at Fastlane against the Usos. Both times, Miz was pinned. Following their match at Fastlane, a disappointed Miz hugged Shane McMahon with the Miz's father at ringside. Shane turned heel in something that was very well done. Attacked the Miz, brutalized his father, taking his face, shoving him down into the fucking seat that he was sitting in, calling him Potato Face. Shane consoled the Miz and his father, attacked both of them, turning heel. Following episode on SmackDown Live, Shane explained that he was tired of people using him. He claimed that he enjoyed beating up The Miz at Fastlane and wanted to do it again at WrestleMania, making the match without actually consulting The Miz. He then scheduled a match between him and The Miz at WrestleMania, and it was a false count anyway. Miz responded and said that people had warned him about Shane, but he did not listen. He said Shane was just as terrible as his father, called him a son of a bitch, Vince McMahon, and that he would defeat Shane at WrestleMania. Miz then wanted the false count anywhere match, and Shane agreed. Obviously, I'm going with The Miz here. There's no points in Shane winning. This is a blow-off. I hope to God that this doesn't continue. It's been going on for quite some time now. It's been going on since November. If there was ever a day and an event to have the payoff, it would be this. Miz is going to win. Miz is going to get retribution for what was done to his father, and that's pretty much it. But all in all, out of everything else that you see on WrestleMania's card, it was pretty well done and executed. And like I said, WWE put some effort into this. It's just, I can't see The Miz as a babyface. I just don't. The Miz is very good at what he does. I just don't like him, and I can't invest my time into someone who has been so dastardly for the last decade. I'm not going to buy into The Miz being a babyface in 2 months. I'm sorry. There's been so much that he's done in 10 years that it's not going to be, a situation where I'm going to be like, oh, look, The Miz, he's great. I love him. I can't wait to see him win. I can't wait to see him get the ovation at WrestleMania. No, I want to see The Miz being a fucking prick, because that's The Miz. Shane, I will say, is a very good heel. I'm loving Shane now more than I did before. I think he comes off because he's a McMahon. It's in their blood. It's natural to be a dick, and Shane has been playing a good heel. So, I do like certain aspects of this, but I just want it to be over. I really want these storylines to end, this one in particular, and The Miz move on to something else. We may actually get The Miz. It's funny that The Miz and Bryan was talked about for WrestleMania, with Bryan being the babyface and The Miz being the heel, and Bryan taking the title off The Miz. Remember that discussion? How many people in the community were talking about that? Wouldn't it be funny if Bryan regains the title if he loses it to Kofi, and we get the same match but roles reversed? Miz being a babyface and Bryan being the heel. Wouldn't that be something? That would be something I would be interested to see what they could do and what kind of story they could tell with Bryan being the fucking dastardly heel. A role that he's been so great at. I'm going with The Miz. There's no question that The Miz is going to beat Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. What you can't beat are the deals on Barber Shop Window. You like that one, right? Yeah. The deals on Barbershop Window, man. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. This is the official home of Off the Scripts merchandise. Use code BSHOP20 for 20% off, man. Go visit Barbershop Window. We are officially partnering with Barbershop Window. This is a Pro Wrestling Tees product, so you know if Pro Wrestling Tees has their name behind it, that it is quality. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Code BSHOP20 for 20% off. WWE has apparently added another match. Another match to WrestleMania. This time including the Revival, which I guess is great if you're Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, but it's another match nonetheless. Now, it was supposed to be Ricochet and Aleister Black versus the Revival. Ricochet and Aleister Black lost via countout on Monday Night Raw, which the plan was, or the decision for that, was to kind of phase them out as a tag team on Monday Night Raw. Now, after that, on WWE.com, WWE shot a little angle, I'm assuming, with the Revival, Zack Ryder, and Kurt Hawkins for the Raw Tag Team titles. This match was now made official, and it looks like Ryder and Hawkins are going to get a shot at the Tag Team Championships on Monday Night Raw. This does not bode well for the Revival. This does not bode well for the Revival whatsoever. Because if you're booking this match at WrestleMania, I do not see WWE going into WrestleMania with Kurt Hawkins' losing streak and him going into this continuing to lose. Meaning, I think Kurt Hawkins is going to break his streak. It's about time. It really is about time. And that sucks for the Revival because WWE gave the tag team titles to the Revival. And you figured that with all the talk about them focusing on tag team wrestling, that they'd be in something a little bit more high profile. And here they are losing a match to a tag team that hasn't been featured on Monday Night Raw and a guy who's on a 269 match losing streak. The Revival has been fucked over. Entrances, ring entrances, even on pay-per-view that have been non-existent. WWE's had them lose to teams like DIY and Aleister Black and Ricochet on several occasions on the main roster. They've been presented as losers and not champions. And this is their own doing. The Revival have to look themselves in the mirror and are asking themselves, this is our own fault. And you know what? I don't even think they care. I honestly don't even think that they care. So, whenever this match happens on Sunday, whether it's on the pre-show or the main show, WWE is going to take the titles off the Revival. Because fuck the Revival, literally. WWE is taking that, and they are running with it big time. And they're going to make the Revival's life a living hell. The WWE finds no value in the Revival at all. They're sick of their fucking complaining. And the Revival are two guys that have to suck it up and deal with it and have their contracts expire next year and then walk into AEW and then prove them wrong. The Revival, more so out of anybody, they're in the Neville category now. Walking away from WWE, proving them all wrong and just giving the big fuck you. This is what you missed out on. It's going to happen. Believe me. This match is being added. I'm going with Ryder and Hawkins here to win the Raw Tag Team titles. There was a rumor that Vince McMahon is thinking of breaking up the Revival. If this happens, if I'm Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, I'm pulling a Neville. I really am. Brian Alvarez commented on Wrestling Observer Live that he thinks the Revival are still giving Vince McMahon a headache backstage, that there is an easy way to deal with this and ruin them completely. He says, and I quote, "You know what I think is honestly going to happen? I think that if they are annoyed enough, Vince is going to break them up. He gave them the titles, they're still bothering him, and they're going to break them up." Alvarez noted that at the point Vince could book Dash and Dawson to compete at a low level on the singles side of things, they might appear on main event exclusively and make them miserable until their contracts are up. That's fucking terrible. I'm sorry. But the Revival have not helped their cause. Pictures with fucking people wearing AEW merchandise, still tweeting the Young Bucks, complaining this and that on social media in every fucking which way possible. One person who's a fan of the product tweeted out their children wearing mock Raw Tag Team titles, and Dash Wilder replied back to the quoted tweet and said, "Please do not wish them as the Raw Tag Team champions. That's something that I would not wish on anybody." So, you got what you wanted, and, you know, it's WWE just kind of masking the problem. Yeah, we'll fix it. They gave them the titles, which are worthless. The Revival knew that they were worthless. They just wanted to prove the point that they were the best tag team in WWE. They have not been given the platform to do that. And now here they are at WrestleMania losing to a guy who's lost 270 straight matches. There you go. And someone who's appeared on Grimm's Toy Show. There you go. The Revival are going to lose the tag team titles, and fuck the Revival. Because the WWE certainly doesn't give a shit about them at all. Moving on here, man. I want to move on to the Cruiserweight Championship match. Let's get this out of the way. Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese. This is something that I'm actually looking forward to on the pre-show. We had a tournament. It was an 8-man single elimination tournament with the winner facing Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship at WrestleMania 35. Buddy Murphy was on this kick that he's beaten everybody. There's no legit competition, so Drake Maverick put together a tournament that occurred over the next few weeks following the initial announcement. It was Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, Oney Lorcan, and Cedric Alexander advancing to the semifinals by defeating Kalisto, Brian Kendrick, Humberto Carrillo, and Akira Tozawa, respectively. Now, Nese and Alexander then advanced to the finals, with Tony Nese ending up winning the entire tournament. I'm going with Buddy Murphy, because there really is nobody in 205 Live's division, or the Cruiserweight division, that is better than Buddy Murphy. What I would like to see, honestly, I'm going with Buddy Murphy because I do think he's the best Cruiserweight still. There's nobody that's come along that's better than Buddy Murphy. But what I kind of hope deep down that happens is Tony Nese wins the title, because Tony Nese is fucking great, and Buddy Murphy gets moved from 205 Live to SmackDown Live. That's what I hope happens. He's too good to be on that show. So I'm going with Buddy Murphy to retain. Deep down, I want Buddy Murphy on a bigger stage than 205 Live. I think he would thrive unbelievably on SmackDown Live. Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle. How many of you are excited about this match? I know I'm not. Kurt Angle began his farewell tour. Goodbye. Beginning of March. It's culminated in a farewell match at WrestleMania. Angle chose Baron Corbin as his final opponent, with the Chicago crowd screaming, "We want Cena." Now, Corbin, apparently to Kurt Angle, he was the only one that he wanted to beat, because Corbin has made his life a living hell. Problems as Raw GM from 2017 to 2018. Now, Angle was given the opportunity to choose his own opponents during this farewell tour. Everybody but the WrestleMania opponent. It was then revealed that Kurt Angle was going to be at StarCast, Double or Nothing, All Elite Wrestling, Memorial Day weekend. This was revealed on Raw last week. And then I'm wondering, I wonder why the Rey Mysterio match didn't happen. Well, I wonder why the match with Baron Corbin is still on. And here we are a week from WrestleMania, and everybody's expecting, oh, John Cena's going to show up. John Cena's going to show up. He's going to interfere, and he's going to take out Corbin, and he's going to challenge Kurt Angle to a match at WrestleMania. No. You think that Vince McMahon is going to let Kurt Angle going to StarCast just slip under the fucking cracks? Or slip through the cracks and sweep it under the rug? The guy almost had a fucking stroke when The Undertaker was announced. In fact, The Undertaker is not doing dead man talking anymore. Vince killed it. Conrad copyrighted it. He ain't doing anything with it. That's the last thing I heard. You think, with a man that was that upset over The Undertaker, he's going to be easy on Kurt Angle? Nah, you got to be kidding me. The hope of John Cena went up into a fucking puff of smoke at WrestleMania. We're getting Baron Corbin, and you're going to like it, says WWE. Now, with the general manager position, I love how WWE thinks that the general manager position was so important that Kurt Angle needs to get his revenge at WrestleMania. It's fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. Baron Corbin became the acting general manager at TLC in December of 2018. Corbin said he was glad to be the one to end Angle's career and boasted about his own accomplishments. On April 1st, Angle challenged Corbin to an exhibition match, but Corbin declined, claiming that Angle would not be able to make it to WrestleMania if they had a match before the actual show. Now, I don't understand why this is a big deal at WrestleMania. I really don't. I really don't. If Angle doesn't win, what's the point? Baron Corbin beating Kurt Angle is not going to give anything to Baron Corbin. There's nothing to give. There's no rub. You're rubbing one out and nothing's coming out. What's happening here? I don't get it. Kurt Angle physically has nothing to give Baron Corbin, both in the ring and career-wise by beating him. I'm going with Kurt Angle, and goodbye. Goodbye. Baron Corbin's lucky to be in this position. Oh, Baron Corbin's a great heel. Oh, Baron Corbin plays his role. Oh, blah, blah, blah. But we all know it should have been somebody else. If I had a choice, honestly, you know what my choice would have been? Kurt Angle come out, address the fucking crowd, give a 10-minute speech, boo-hoo, cry, some tears fall down your face, and then goodbye. Instead of watching a fucking decrepit old man at 50 years old who could barely fucking walk wrestle a 5-6 minute match that could have easily been given to something else. If this is how WWE was going to treat Kurt Angle, you just should have gave him 10 minutes in the ring, talk to the people, and that's it. I'm going with Kurt Angle over Baron Corbin, and really, at the end of the day, who fucking cares? Who cares? Triple H versus Batista. Triple H versus Batista. This is something that could be fun. I hope Triple H doesn't tear a fucking muscle in this no-holds-barred career-on-the-line match. Now, it all started at SmackDown 1000, right? Batista says, "You've done everything in the WWE except beat me." I'm like, ooh, Batista getting a little fucking fiery there on SmackDown Live 1000. It was during the appearance of Evolution's reunion. During the segment, Batista praised everybody, Triple H and everybody, Flair, Orton. And then, he's done everything in WWE as Triple H except beat me. They had a stare down before shaking hands. Ric Flair got in the middle. He's doing his thing. And that was it. We didn't see Batista on Raw until February 25th, where Ric Flair celebrated his 70th birthday. Flair didn't show up because Batista was in the back beating the shit out of Ric Flair, attacked him in the dressing room, looking for Triple H's attention. And the best way to get Triple H's attention by taking out the birthday boy, Ric Flair. Do I have your attention now? Huh? That was it. Triple H called out Batista on March 11th, Monday Night Raw, where Batista stated that he wanted his final match to be on his own terms. He challenged Triple H to a match at WrestleMania 35. Triple H accepted, but Triple H says, "Yeah, I'm going to give you a match, but it's going to be under my stipulation. No holds barred." Batista explained that his hatred for Triple H has gone back to their time in Evolution. Really now. He left WWE the first time, and he's back this current time, right? In between, he came back. That's what they don't talk about. They're missing that entire part. Batista is so upset at Triple H for what he did in Evolution that Batista came back the second time and formed Evolution. Must have not been that bad, Big Bad Dave, huh? Fucking ridiculous. Instead of building the fucking feud over the fact that Triple H was upset, or WWE management was upset, that Batista went away to do Guardians of the Galaxy and bringing real life into the situation, that Batista wanted to come back years ago, and he wanted WWE, all he wanted WWE to do was promote Guardians of the Galaxy, and they didn't do it. They laughed at him, and he never came back. Then Batista wanted to come back again, and they ignored his phone calls. And that's all they needed to do. The Guardians of the Galaxy just, not really promoting it, got under Batista's skin. And the fact that Batista wanted to come back and he wanted to do a full year and do the house shows and the live shows, and he wanted to be at WrestleMania last year, and they ignored him. They didn't return his calls. That's all he had to do. And WWE made a mockery out of this entire storyline. Give me what I want. What the fuck do you want? Yeah, I know what you want, but why do you want it? And then they give me the storyline, the fucking basic storyline. Oh, Triple H is an egomaniac. He surrounds himself with people to make him look successful. Why the fuck did you come back the second time and opt to do Evolution? Why did you come back at SmackDown 1000 and stand proud with Evolution? Doesn't make any sense. This is merely a WrestleMania match because Triple H needs his obligatory WrestleMania match. Batista's there because they don't trust in the active performers they got now. They got to use old names to build the hype for WrestleMania. That's all this match is. Come on, man. It's exactly what I want to see. Two aging 50-year-olds in a no-holds-barred match using gimmicks to mask their inability to wrestle. Triple H is going to win. This is Batista's last match. If you think Triple H has wrestled his last match at WrestleMania, you're a fucking idiot. Triple H is going to win. Should be entertaining, and I hope they make the most of it and they don't embarrass themselves. Seriously. I really hope that they do not embarrass themselves at WrestleMania. Moving on. moving on. We're getting into the good stuff now. Let me delete all these fucking notes because I had so much notes. I had so many notes for all this shit. And I just want to make sure that I'm looking at the right shit so I don't get fucking mixed up. Now we got the championship matches to go over. We got the three big ones. The WWE, the Women's, and the Universal Championship. I got so much news on the fucking Women's Championship. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous, man. It's really fucking ridiculous. All this shit. You know? Deleting shit live on the podcast. There you go. All right. Let's talk about the least important one. Let's get this fucking Universal Championship bullshit out of the way. Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. Seth Rollins obviously won the Royal Rumble. Won the Men's Royal Rumble, earning a championship match. Clearly, he went after Brock Lesnar. So he chose his opponent the next night on Raw. And Heyman tried to discourage Rollins from challenging Lesnar. Rollins confronted Lesnar, resulting in a big brawl. I think he received like 6 F5s. I think that was it. Sold all of them. They looked fucking brutal. Rollins apparently had a back injury, which caused him to not be physical on Raw for about a month and a half until we got to Fastlane, where the Shield reunion happened. Afterwards, Rollins chose to face the Universal Champion at WrestleMania. We had Heyman remind Rollins of his previous encounters with Lesnar, and Rollins was attacked by Shelton Benjamin on Monday Night Raw. Now, they told the story here that Benjamin was Lesnar's old wrestling friend from the University of Minnesota and a tag team partner in Ohio Valley Wrestling. Benjamin performed several German suplexes, just like Brock Lesnar does, and it was stated that Heyman paid Benjamin to be there that night to kind of, ease into Rollins about what he's going to find out at WrestleMania. Now, Rollins defeated Benjamin. Nothing really special. Rollins and Lesnar had a final confrontation this past week on the Go Home show, which resulted in Rollins delivering 2 low blows to Lesnar, and he delivered the stomp as well. Has there ever been a Universal Championship match that has had absolutely zero momentum going into it? WWE is reportedly talking about a swerve at WrestleMania. Is this a swerve? I don't even think this is a swerve anymore. Everybody was so high on Rollins, and they always fail to build up a proper Universal Championship match. Is it the fucking challenger, or is it the fact that Brock Lesnar is not fucking there? He's never there. I mentioned on Monday Night Raw, the first time in the entirety of this build that I felt something during this feud. It's because the fucking 2 guys in the match were actually face to face on Monday Night Raw. The title was there. This match has absolutely no momentum behind it. And for everybody thinking, Rollins is going to take the title. Really now? Really? What has Rollins done to prove to you he's going to take the title? Deliver 2 low blows? What did that prove? A, he's a fucking coward. B, he can't win without using cheap tactics. He's a fucking babyface doing a heel-like move on a fucking heel to get ahead. And everybody seems to forget that. Lesnar, hi, I'm the Universal Champion. I got Saudi Arabia coming up. I'm not going to Saudi Arabia without the fucking title. They're paying me, but the fuck I gotta travel all the way over there for? I'm the champion. He's gonna make more money going into that as champion. They're not going to go into Saudi Arabia without Lesnar being the Universal Champion. Come on, man. You got to be a little bit smarter than that. Rollins is losing. Rollins is losing at WrestleMania. No question. I would be floored if Rollins wins the Universal Championship, because then what do you do with Brock Lesnar going into Saudi Arabia? Who does he feud with? Who does he feud with? Unless you use him to get Roman over. And then Roman's the number 1 contender, and then that gives Roman the reason to challenge Seth Rollins for the Universal title. Or maybe they do Lesnar and Reigns and Rollins at Saudi Arabia, and Reigns wins the title. Fuck Rollins. Either way you look at it, this is all revolving around Roman Reigns. Either way you spin it, title's going right back to Roman. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They They gave you Rollins in this Royal Rumble build. He won the Royal Rumble. He looks like he got eliminated in 3 seconds. That's the type of fucking mentality I'm thinking about with Seth Rollins. Did he win the Royal Rumble? I don't fucking remember. This is the Royal Rumble winner going into WrestleMania? They were supposed to take the title off Lesnar with Reigns last year in the most fucking 100% predicted fucking match on that show. What happened? What happened? If they didn't take the title off Lesnar then, you think they're going to take the title off Lesnar now? Man, oh man, I can't wait till fucking Lesnar wins and people are so salty. Oh, here we go. Same old shit. Yeah, of course. Of course. Lesnar is going to win this match and retain the title. He's taking that bitch right into Saudi Arabia because it makes no sense for him not to. Give me a break. If Rollins wins the title, it'll be there if Roman is not involved. Because that's their WrestleMania. That's their new WrestleMania. This is like an old dirty. This is like a fucking appetizer for WWE. Give me a break. That match is going down. I'm not excited. I'm actually interested to see what they do with that match. I really am. Rollins is a quintessential perfect opponent for Brock Lesnar. Those guys, those types of guys work so great with Brock Lesnar. And the athleticism of Rollins and the speed of Rollins, it should be good against Lesnar. Bryan was great. AJ was great. Finn was great for the 8 minutes that he was in there. So I'm expecting this to be a very, very great booked match. But I don't think the outcome is going to be what you guys expect it to be. Rollins is going to lose. I'm going with Lesnar as the new, he's going to retain the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. We got 2 more matches, man, but I got so much news about these matches that could fill a whole fucking episode. Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. We all know how we got here. I don't need to reiterate what happened here. Kofi Kingston was a last-minute replacement for Mustafa Ali in the gauntlet match, and that gauntlet match was to determine who would enter last in the Elimination Chamber. Kofi was in the Elimination Chamber with Daniel Bryan, and that was what started all this off. On the following episode of SmackDown Live, Kingston was granted a WWE title match at Fastlane. That was taken from him, and he was placed in a handicap match with The Bar. The title match went from Kofi and Bryan to Bryan and Owens, and then Mustafa Ali added last minute. Then Kofi had to go through another gauntlet match, which he won and then lost. And the last guy he lost to was Bryan. He had to fight 5 guys in one night. Vince made it a 6th. He lost to Bryan. The next week, the New Day confronted McMahon. Kofi won the gauntlet match. What do I got to do? And McMahon said, well, Kofi's not getting no more opportunities. Now it's on you guys to get him in. So we had another gauntlet match with the New Day beating tag teams on SmackDown Live. And eventually they won it. And the final team they beat was Bryan and Rowan. And that's how they got Kofi Kingston into the main event. Go-home show of SmackDown Live seen Kofi Kingston sign the contract for the WWE Championship match, making it official. Now, that's the whole story. That's the whole story here. But a lot of people aren't excited about this match. Superstar Billy Graham calls Kofi Kingston's WWE title match a joke. A joke. According to Graham, the idea of Kingston being in the spot is a joke due to him not being thrilled about a 145-pound champion. He wrote the following: "Is WWE serious? I turned on my computer and went to the wrestling news sites, and what did I see? Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Talk is Vince is going to put the belt on Kofi Kingston. Shit you not. 145-pound champion. This must have been an idea by the new senior creative lady, Dana Warrior. Meltzer says she's been promoted to an extremely high position on the creative team and attends meetings that only Vince, Triple H, and Stephanie are in. How did she get so smart? My friend Hannibal TV, has been monitoring the Monday Night Raw steady decline in TV viewership. Well, Hannibal, it dropped again last night in Boston. Monday, March 25th. Steady decline in TV viewership. I predict that this year's Mania will be so bad that next year, 2020, will not even come close to selling out. The thrill is gone. Is anyone out there really excited to see these two lightweights wrestle for the WWE Championship? Oh, one more thing. I would love to see Kofi at 145 pounds put his newly won WWE title belt on the line against Brock Lesnar. Great logistics. One man outweighed by a good 135 pounds. A total joke is this. Signed off. Superstar Billy Graham. I really don't know what to say. I mean, this is the opinion. This is the opinion of people who are not with this program. I don't even know how to answer this. Like, I love it. Listen, I hated it and then grew to love it. I'm glad WWE didn't go in the route of the racism thing, because that would have been just completely ridiculous. The racial undertones of all this shit, right? I'm glad that it's about Kofi and his 11 years and him not getting a WWE title match in 11 years. This is great. One of the best stories in pro wrestling is the underdog held back, not getting a fair shot and wants a shot, coming from behind, just defying all odds. That's the best story that you could possibly tell in a pro wrestling world. That or the grizzled veteran who still has so much left in the tank and wants one more shot at the top before he calls it a career. That or that one. But I don't understand this 145-pound champion bullshit. Like, why are we still in this mentality? This obviously is someone who's still stuck in his time frame and will never be on board with what's going on right now. Tommaso Ciampa reeks of old school. 180 pounds? Not even. And look at the champion that he was in NXT. But he modeled himself so much after the old school that it was so tough not to respect. Johnny Gargano. Is anyone going to slight Johnny Gargano for the work that he's done? Like, I don't understand. What about Bret the Hitman Hart? Shawn Michaels. Guys that were 210, 220 pounds doing it before Kofi Kingston. I don't understand the logic there. You might not like it, and I don't like it. I don't like the aspect of a Brock Lesnar coming in here and just throwing off the whole fucking landscape. Because realistically, no one's going to beat Brock Lesnar. But they made it work. Styles made it work. Balor made it work. Bryan made it work. Rollins is going to make it work. WWE has kept that aura about Brock Lesnar. They haven't fucked up on that. I don't believe Roman could beat Brock Lesnar, but that's Roman Reigns, and that was the agenda they were pushing, so I don't understand this mentality. Why everybody picking on Kofi Kingston, but you could look at Bret Hart and Daniel Bryan and guys like that. I mean, they were 210 pounds, 220 pounds. And they were more flippy and Shawn Michaels was, more so than Kofi Kingston. I don't understand it. I really don't understand this. This is just a guy who is set in his ways. And he's got to project this negativity because Kofi Kingston's 145 pounds. No, he's not 145 pounds. I'm going to look up Kofi Kingston's fucking weight right now. Where is it? Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston is 37 years old, and he weighs 212 pounds. There you go. Maybe superstar Billy Graham should know what's going on. Kofi Kingston is 212 pounds. Shawn Michaels weighed about the same back when he was WWE champion. So let's just enjoy the journey, and hopefully WWE does the right thing. Now, with Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, I have a lot more on this. And before I get into my opinion, this next piece is going to have a lot to do with what I think. Now, if WWE gives Kofi Kingston the WWE title, it could have a lot to do with Saudi Arabia. Lance Storm commented on this, and it's so great to know that Lance Storm and myself, my opinion is on par with what Lance Storm, a fucking legend, a pro, is thinking. Storm does not plan on watching all of WrestleMania, but he is interested in Kofi and Daniel Bryan, he states. I imagine that Kofi and Daniel Bryan turns out to be as good as I suspect it will, and I'll watch that. I think if the Saudi Arabia show is happening, and I think that there is a strong chance that Kofi will win this, so Bryan doesn't have to take the WWE Championship with him into Saudi Arabia. End quote. WrestleMania is going to be a very long event. One of the matches that fans are really looking forward to is this WWE title match. Bryan did not want to go to Saudi Arabia last time, which was why he was written off Crown Jewel. Therefore, since Kofi Kingston would have no issue making that trip, then that might be WWE's way to get the title to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia without forcing Bryan to do something he morally objects to do. Now, if Kofi wins the WWE title, how long will his reign last? Wrestling News reports that Vince McMahon still hasn't made up his mind about whether Kofi will win the WWE title at WrestleMania. Of course, betting odds tell a much different story. If Kofi Kingston is able to pull down the WWE title from Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, the plan is that he will likely drop the title by SummerSlam. That is giving him a lot of time. That's a decent reign. I suspect he drops the title by June. I don't even think it's 2 months, easy. I honestly think it's going to be shorter than that. Now, the reason for this shorter title reign is because WWE has other ideas when they roll into Fox with the new deal for SmackDown Live. Now, this is not going to make people happy, and you need to understand that WWE is not going to have Kofi Kingston as the WWE champion going into a brand new fucking debut on Fox Sports. They want a huge name, a notable name, a household name to be WWE champion, whether that's a Randy Orton. I'm going with a Randy Orton, to be honest with you. Or an AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan, possibly. Kofi Kingston's not going to be the WWE champion going into the debut on Fox Sports. Now, Daniel Bryan, his original plan for WrestleMania 35 was not even against Kofi Kingston. This was supposed to be against Kevin Owens. Now, Mustafa Ali was supposed to challenge Daniel Bryan at Fastlane, and he would have lost, but Bryan would have had that match and made him look stronger. Unfortunately, Ali suffered a concussion before the Elimination Chamber, which killed his momentum. It was Bryan's idea to bring him to the main roster from 205 Live. Bryan would have been moved on to Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 35. This idea that Owens' vignettes would have gotten across that he's just a regular guy that enjoys spending time with his family. Bryan would have cut promos on him, ripping him for his unhealthy eating lifestyle. Vince, of course, changed his mind and moved Kingston into the match with Bryan because of the fan reaction, most notably the reaction at the Elimination Chamber. People were told that the decision has not been made yet on Kofi and him winning the WWE title, but McMahon was leaning in that direction, and they would have rematches after Mania with Kingston defending the title against Bryan with other contenders for a few months. Another source stated that if Kingston wins the title, he will likely drop it before SummerSlam because they have ideas in mind for who they want as champion by the time SmackDown Live moves to Fox in the fall. So there you go. Another report that said the same thing. I am going with Kofi Kingston. I think Bryan realizes how important this was to him back at WrestleMania 30. And I am going with Bryan paying it forward. Bryan realized how important this was to him at WrestleMania 30, and he's going to do the same thing for Kofi at WrestleMania 35. The Saudi Arabian deal is also going to play a factor here. I don't think Bryan's going to Saudi Arabia. I don't think Bryan, it's too soon. It's too soon. It's still fresh. The wound is still fresh from what happened in November. I don't think Bryan's going to want to go to Saudi Arabia. So him not having to go there, he would willingly drop the title to Kofi, only to come back to it when they finish that tour or that show. And they'll pick up right where they left off, so he doesn't have to go. I think that's going to be a determining factor in this as well. Probably the biggest determining factor is the fact that if Kofi doesn't win the title, and I mean this wholeheartedly, if Kofi doesn't win the title, I have a feeling people are going to take this racism thing and they're going to blow it up bigger than it really is. Because right now it's nothing. But people on social media, you know for a fact that if Bryan wins, and there have been rumors of Bryan winning because WWE wants to make him into a super heel. And what bigger fucking heelish thing to do than to beat the babyface at WrestleMania in his one and only match. But I think if Kofi doesn't win the title, the people are going to be so immature and they're going to cry racism. Oh, look, WWE had the white man beat the black man. And WWE right now, honestly, they have no choice but to give Kofi Kingston the title because they don't want that to come and be a determining factor in anything. They don't want that to be spread on social media. Oh, look, Kofi Kingston lost because he's black. People are going to cry racism if Kofi Kingston doesn't win the WWE title. All the signs are pointing to a payoff. Pay him off. This is where the WWE creative team sits down and comes up with an idea to get the title off of Kofi and put it back on Bryan. WrestleMania is about moments. This is a moment. They had a moment at the Chamber. They didn't do it. They rewrote the whole story. They rewrote the whole story. Now we're here. You didn't have it happen then when it should have happened then. I still firmly believe it should have happened then. Now we're here. WWE has a rare instance in which this moment is now presenting itself for a second time. Kofi Kingston wins the WWE title. I would be happy if any decision is made here. If Bryan retains or Kofi wins, I'd be happy with both. But Mania is about moments. Kofi Kingston's not going to be a WWE champion for as long as Pete Dunne is a UK champion. Give him the title and creatively write to get the title off of him. Saudi Arabia and the fact that people are so immature that they'll cry racism are two big things in this entire thing. I'm going with Kofi. Kofi wins the title. And that's it. That's my thoughts on that. It's going to be a great match. I'm looking forward to seeing how they put this match together. Man, the women's match. Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair. SmackDown and Raw women's titles. I got so much news on this shit. Holy shit. The real reason why the women's main event at WrestleMania is taking place. So why was this decision made to put this match in the last spot of WrestleMania? Well, Dave Meltzer has an answer. If there's a theme of this year's WrestleMania, it is that as much people mocked and didn't believe the McMahons when they said that the fans are now the authority, it was the fans who put Lynch in the main event, and if she does win, made her champion. It was Vince McMahon's decision, made on March 19th, to make her, or whomever wins, a double champion, even though various ideas of having both belts at stake had been pitched for months. The reason why this main event is happening is because WWE is addicted to the spotlight. This match went from genuine, exciting, real, had the heart of what makes wrestling special, and WWE diluted all that with a political agenda that they cannot help themselves with. ESPN and Good Morning America and everything in the fucking mainstream. Oh, look at us. Look at how much we are in favor of our women athletes. Let's put them in the main event of WrestleMania. And went from Becky and Ronda having a fucking pro wrestling classic face-to-face, getting everybody excited for WrestleMania, and the fans wanting it to be the main event of WrestleMania, to WWE shoving it down our throats, pushing a fucking political agenda just for the sake of making them look good on the behalf of these three women. Look at our WrestleMania main event. The first women's main event of WrestleMania. The first this, the first that, the first this, the first that. First time ever, first time ever. How many of you are fucking sick of hearing it? Why did the women get the main event spot? I want to say because it's the best thing on WWE television right now. And I can't even say that to you. Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, if you ask me, after everything WWE's done, if you look back at the WrestleMania season, what to you is the WrestleMania main event now? It's not Becky. It's not Ronda. It's not Charlotte. Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan is my main event. Just because of the way WWE's handled the feud with Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte. And how much they diluted everything. And how much they tried so hard to make it special and outlandish. And look at us, look at us. That's the reason why it happened. Because WWE cannot help themselves to push a fucking political agenda to make themselves look good in the eyes of the mainstream. Becky Lynch's future following WrestleMania 35. Wrestling Observer noted that Becky Lynch is being pushed as the female face of the company. The decision was made following the massive fan reaction and gained during the build-up to the Survivor Series. Therefore, WWE, whatever they do with Lynch following WrestleMania, you can bet that she will be heavily featured. WWE has a few options about what to do with Becky Lynch, but Ronda Rousey's decision to leave WWE could change a lot about who she is facing after WrestleMania. There's a lot of debate on whether Becky Lynch right now wins the title or not, but all signs are pointing to that. She's the highest merchandise seller in the WWE and has been for quite some time, and she's probably the most popular female in the entire company. And the fact that WWE just recently offered Becky Lynch a new WWE deal for more money is also a very good sign that she will continue to be the face of the women's division for a very long time. I think Becky Lynch is going to unify the divisions, and I honestly think that Becky Lynch either moves on from this to go one-on-one with Shayna and continue battling Ronda in the shape of Shayna, or Becky Lynch battles Stephanie McMahon after the rumors that we heard a few months back at SummerSlam. That's what I honestly think happens with Becky Lynch after WrestleMania. WWE's plan for a double women's champion following WrestleMania. WrestleMania's main event match will have a winner-takes-all stipulation. Dave Meltzer discussed this on the Wrestling Observer Live, where he revealed that WWE might keep both titles on one woman for a while. However, you really never know what they could end up deciding on doing. He says, and I quote, "As far as what happens down the line, I presume that the titles will be broken off later, but I was told that this is to be determined." It's not like they're going to go into next week and do it. The winner will have both belts, and the storyline they're going to do is someone is unjustly losing their championship and getting screwed by the other person losing. So WWE right now doesn't even know what they're doing as far as the double championship. Now, as far as that, possible spoiler on the WrestleMania main event, Dave Meltzer proposed a theory on the Observer Live where he said that the Monday Night Raw following WrestleMania or shortly thereafter, Vince McMahon could put Becky Lynch in a situation where she chooses what title she wants to hold. This would be a tough decision and could dictate which brand she ends up on. We have to wait and see what happens after WrestleMania, but it's always possible WWE will be able to figure something out if they don't go all in with unifying the women's titles. Dave Meltzer also provided a spoiler of sorts when he broke down the WrestleMania main event during Observer Live. Looks like the top babyface going into this match is earmarked to win. However, WWE's plan has been to give Becky Lynch a push out of this historic match for months because she is the chosen one now. He says, and I quote, "The idea is to make this the biggest women's title match of all time with everything at stake, and the person that everyone wants to see win is going to win, and she is the chosen one. She's the one that they picked." I mean, maybe not last year, but it's been that way for months. I think some people do know that, but it just amazes me that people can watch this TV and not see it. I don't think we're going to have an idea of what they do with the women's championships until the shakeup or the draft or whatever the fuck they're doing. I'll give WWE till April 15, 16 to come up with a reason or a situation for those titles. Unification is best. That division, Raw and SmackDown, desperately need it. Because you're not going to add anybody to a Raw or SmackDown and make it a full division. Seriously, you need to have the women. If the women are going to be the focus, they need to be featured on both shows. And I mentioned this already. I'm so tired I don't even want to go over it again. The fact that they're moving to SmackDown Live, Fox wants to be loaded. You can't load the show if Ronda is on Raw specifically. Ronda is a big deal. She'll be back by that time. She'll be at SummerSlam. She'll be at Survivor Series. She'll be at the Rumble. She'll be at Mania next year. Fox is going to want that presence on SmackDown Live. Can't do that by moving Ronda over to SmackDown Live exclusively. Then she won't be on Raw. That's the one thing that this all revolves around. Fox. I don't know why people still can't see that. And the fact that the division is going to be better off for it. You can't call a women's division of 5 a division. Not when you got tag teams now being exclusive to that title. Come on. Reason for the WrestleMania main event arrest angle that looked like a fucking circus. Meltzer explained this during Wrestling Observer Live. He says the women had their segment and the women tore the house down. Well, they wanted to spend an hour telling you that they were at the police station, getting fingerprinted, and all that. I got that, and I think the segment is something you really don't want in the third hour because it's like you want to make sure everyone was watching that. The segment might be panned by some hard-to-please viewers like myself. However, it certainly seemed to be exciting for some people's interest in the YWC. Now, if anything, we got one big meme out of it, and that's Charlotte Flair's jumping knee, smashing Ronda Rousey's face into the destroyed window of the police vehicle. There you go. There you go. WWE, who they had originally winning the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania if it wasn't on Charlotte Flair. Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Live that Lacey Evans has a good chance of winning the Women's Battle Royal. This is something that we already exclusively have talked about here several times, that WWE has been planning Lacey Evans and Asuka, and then that plan went right out the window, but WWE has big plans for Lacey Evans. He says, and I quote, "Look, she was supposed to be in that championship match against Asuka and probably was going to win it." End quote. Now, if you thought that Asuka fans were upset about her losing the title to Charlotte Flair, then it would have been nothing compared to Lacey Evans snatching the title off of Asuka at WrestleMania. I think that would have caused a fucking huge uproar in the YWC. If Lacey Evans is in that Battle Royal, more than likely she will end up winning, which is going to anger people even more because Asuka is in that Battle Royal and people are looking for Asuka to destroy people in that Battle Royal. Becky Lynch reacts to Dusty Rhodes' last tweet before he passed away. Before Rhodes passed away on June 11, 2015, he sent one final tweet 4 days prior to his passing. This tweet was about Becky Lynch. As he said, "Lynch, at NXT star, time she will be great, top 5 of last 5 years, max number 1. What a foreshadowing that is, huh? Becky Lynch actually brought this tweet up last week. It obviously meant a lot to her. She commented by saying that she would prove the American dream was right by winning the main event of WrestleMania 35. She says, and I quote, "In 1 week, I'm going to prove the dream was right. Hashtag Wrestlemania." There you go. Finally, guys, Ronda Rousey's decision to leave WWE after WrestleMania is not set in stone. Meltzer reports and says McMahon could change his mind if Ronda Rousey decides to stay. Although if that is the case, it probably would lead Lynch to beating Rousey in a singles match down the line. Therefore, if Rousey decides to leave, or not to leave rather, so soon, don't be sad for Becky Lynch. WWE still has big plans for her as the face of the women's division. A lot of news regarding that main event. A lot of news regarding that main event. Listen, the fact that this match is last, WWE doesn't or cannot afford to have something the fans have been so invested in all this time and then not get at the end of WrestleMania. I don't know who Becky Lynch pins or submits. They might want to keep Ronda undefeated in singles action. Charlotte can end up pinning, Becky can end up pinning Charlotte and win the titles. But in my eyes, you might as well just get it out of the way. Ronda might not want to tap. WWE might not want Ronda to tap. Either way you look at it. It's a triple threat match. No rules. If Becky pins Ronda, I think that would be the exclamation point on everything. That needs to happen. All of the antics that we've seen lead to this. If Becky is not pinning or submitting Ronda, what was the fucking point of everything? They're going to send that crowd home happy. They are. They have to. If anybody but Becky Lynch wins that match, I don't want to know what WrestleMania looks like on social media. Going with Becky Lynch. She's got to win that match. She's going to be the unified women's champion. The next point after that is WWE unifying the divisions and getting the women's division back on right. Then we can move on and focus on the tag team division and do the same thing with that. The men's, rather. Not the women's. The men's. Man, I'm getting the hell out of here. Jesus Christ. I dreaded this show. I'm glad it came off as well as it did. I'm starving. I'm thirsty. I'm tired. Cranky. I'll see you guys at fucking Hooters. Or if I've seen you already at Hooters, what's up? Because this is going live as I'm at Hooters. And I'll see you guys on the TAKEOVER review tonight. Thank you guys so very much, man. I'm getting out of here. It's going to be a long weekend. And I hope that you guys stick with me here on Off the Script. Thank you guys so very much for everything. Follow me on social media. You guys know the deal. At JD from NY206. Both on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. You guys know the deal with everything else. I'll see you guys tonight for TakeOver New York. Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano for the vacant NXT Championship. I'll see you guys then.